Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together. Alrighty. So we are back. We have realized that Julian has essentially been excised from this game.
For the most part,
most part, which is interesting because of all focus shall be on Nadia. I think in future route, depending, that it's going to be a thing to notice, going, how much do the other love interests actually appear at all?
Yeah.
Alright, now let's do this thing.
Well, and also I would find it to be interesting to see, like, which ones appear, how much do they appear, and what does that exactly mean, what are their interactions?
Right.
Because part of me is kind of curious of going, like, well, you know, if you introduce this character, that doesn't mean that, like, you have a higher, like, I get curious going, are you afraid that people will just become interested in the other characters?
I don't know.
Like,
so far, like, we saw Portia a lot in Julian's route, but that made sense story-wise.
Right.
Maybe it's just that no one's connected to Nadia?
I mean, we've seen Portia a bit in this one, but what we've seen more of, honestly, has just been her sisters.
What I mean is to her story.
Yeah.
So as far as the other love interests, maybe it's just that they're just not involved in her story as much.
Yeah, who knows? I rest my hand on her shoulder, squeezing lightly. She smiles wearily, looking over at me.
Is that Portia?
Aye.
Looks at you wearily, smiles gently. Is that Portia?
Aye.
Hi.
Completely,
Portia.
her face screws itself up.
Okay, but like, looking at Corazon and how tall they are, and then Portia being short, and being like, has to crane their head around. Is that Portia?
Well, maybe like she hears crying, because I'm guessing at this point Portia. This is Portia actually reacting. So then Nadia will get connected to the fact of going, oh yes, and my servant has family
and cares about the outcome of this other thing.
Even though again, I was just on its own. I was like, you literally don't have the Julian being arrested for the charges of collusion. It's just committing a murder that he admitted to only committing a murder. So you can't charge somebody else with colluding with him because you didn't charge him with colluding with someone.
It's true. Additionally, there's the whole experience of going, if she's been, you know, if he's been convicted of all things to do with the murder, her trial's moot anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, the thing is her trial would still matter because you have to prove that she was actually there.
It's true.
But if you're going to, but you would have to get him on, you did collude. All that I could see was basically that he had basically the same amount of stupid crap that he said in the last one that we saw, and you're just like, oh my god.
And everyone just rolled with it. Like,
yeah.
Again, okay, but like, we've said, how do they know how to trial? Maybe it's because they don't know how to trial. So he's like, I'm guilty. And they're like, well, I guess he's guilty.
Oh yeah, whatever that word means.
Also,
I love words.
The whole system of the
I
jury.
have a whole dictionary full of them.
And a thesaurus, too.
Yeah. Synonyms.
And the jury is just who screams louder in the audience without any preparation or anything. I mean, it sounds really disorganized. And Nadia, obviously, just sort of like biting her tongue, kind of thing of going, I can't tell everyone they're doing it wrong now. It's in front of the whole world.
Oh shit, you're very embarrassed.
Pretty much.
Is that another...
Is that leads out? Portia?
There is a figure furtively sneaking our way, ducking behind pillars and slinking through shadows.
And also through the crowd, I guess.
I suppose.
Well, that isn't suspicious at all.
Also, I love that to be really funny, going, darting around pillars and you going, and crowds, you know, and people, and I'm like, they wouldn't have dispersed that fast unless we literally took 3 hours to talk to Julian, and even then, they would still be hanging around, because, oh my god, some people can really talk to each other.
Because we're still partying, and also just celebrating, and also the gossip, my bro, and this is the first time this has ever happened.
Also, I haven't seen you! Marie! Do you remember going to events as a child and being like,
Okay, but like...
Parents, stop talking!
That one, or going like, this is the first time we've made Easter Sunday at this church.
Yes!
For like 3 or 4 years, and everyone's like, oh,
you're still alive!
To you. We never talk except at this event, but now that you're here, I need to speak to you. Yes. That is a thing. Also just going, this type of event has never literally happened, ever, and the Countess, who has disappeared for 3 years, still assumed, we don't know what everyone else's experience was.
Yeah.
Not only set it up, but also was under fire by it.
Yeah.
How amazing. Like, we have gossip for months now. Plus, there's a party tomorrow, so...
Also, though, again, like I said, oh my god, you're alive!
That one. Just going, oh, I didn't even know you survived the plague!
Honey, how are you? I haven't been to that part of town. I heard it's really plague-ridden. Really? I heard your part of town was really... I'm like, oh my god.
No, the plague is gone completely. Well, I still hear that down in this corner, you know.
I'm like, oh god, COVID doesn't exist.
from a distance, she's sneaking over, a small figure over there. Nadia, hello, Portia. From a distance, just like yelling out from the balcony.
Okay, that's deeply charming, but it's also really funny because Nadia's always been so really proper, and I'm not really sure where this slight transformation of character is coming from, because even with the main character, there hasn't been much of an example of let me show you and do goofy / more intimate things.
This is far more playful than I am used to with anyone other than my romantic love interest, the MC. On the other hand, we've pointed out earlier in here, let's tie this together. Let's do this. Earlier in the game, that Portia, that Nadia acts towards Portia in some ways that she otherwise only acts towards the MC.
Yes.
It is as if she is romantically interested in both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And it really seems consistent that way of I'll be casual and playful with you, MC, haha, chucking you on the shoulder and such, and I will also do it with her some.
Yes.
But like in different ways. But also going, there's a figure over there doing this thing, and then saying, hello, Portia, how loud you have to be to call her out. And also, in front of presumably everyone, unless you somehow got your guards, just clear the area afterwards. And I will be the only one here. Again, no one in the Colosseum. What we're doing is we're guarding Julian from outside as a perimeter.
Sounds weird.
And would take a lot more guards.
Yeah.
All right. Hollers as if she was standing on the balcony again.
But also like dignified. Hello, Portia!
Yes. Hello, Portia!
Portia starts, whirling around to spot us. Her face turns bright red and she freezes in the middle of a roll.
Oh my god, she was doing the stupid spy thing.
Oh god. Yeah, she has her own theme music now?
Oh god. Oh god. What was that thing from Space Quest or whatever? Where it's like, oh god, he's trying to be the intrepid captain. Can't believe he's rolling.
Oh god,
like
I don't remember that part, but I remember this stuff happening.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you rolling? Everyone just walking behind him, and dodging behind boulders and rolling and stuff.
I think one of the things that is always really hard though about that kind of movie, kind of like what was the Kung Fu? It's not Kung Fu Hustle, was it?
No, it was. That's the Kung Fu one.
So the thing is so Kung Fu Hustle and like Space Quest
parodies
are both explicitly parody movies, and I've really not seen a parody movie in recent years at all, and it's been really disappointing. Because when it really comes to it, like, parody movies almost as a whole have kind of disappeared.
I think it's because the culture moves so quickly.
It might be.
I think because with the internet, the culture moves so quickly that you can't take a meme that was relevant a year ago, or a chunk of culture, and make it into a movie, because it takes that long to make a movie,
well, and
have it be a big cultural iconic thing.
And also at the same time, too, at that rate, you might also run the risk of basically sounding dated more than actually what we're doing is making a parody of popular society.
On the other hand, I think like the scary movies and stuff were parodies.
Oh yeah,
so that's a type of parody, and they still have.
They've been still running
some pieces of that franchise. Yeah. I haven't seen a parody movie, but I think they're still out there somewhere.
No. I'm saying but they're not really common anymore.
Or really big.
Yeah. Because Scary Movie, even though they still do them, as far as I understand, they are nowhere near as big as they ever used to be. At all.
All right.
Freezes in the middle of a roll.
Okay. How do you freeze in the middle of a roll? I need to know. Okay, if you go into a somersault,
it's okay.
How much work do
She's a cartoon character. We're really good. We went down to the scene down at the bottom. We hit the pause button.
And the frame rate froze.
And then she flopped over. And goes, oh! Milady! Corazon, fancy seeing you here. I was just,
but like...
I'm like, why is she not an emotional wreck for this? Her brother has just been committed to die.
I guess.
When this happened last time, Portia was a wreck in Julian's scene.
Right, but that was when she had someone she was emotionally comfortable being open with.
But the thing was that she cried...
I assume in this case, if you're going, I'm heading to break my brother out of jail, you've got your
game face on.
So you're not bawling your eyes out on your way to go commit a crime,
He could die.
Bringing the file to the jail cell, to get him out of the chains.
How are you?
And the lockpicks.
How did no one find you before now? You're bawling
wailing like someone in mourning. Yeah. No, I'm just I've never been able to stop in the middle of a somersault ever. Holy shit, that would take some muscle control.
That also hurt.
It probably would, to go, I freeze in the middle of a roll, whoa. Anyway, badass
also
acrobatic skills, good job.
What did you do? Freeze in the roll, so you literally, point your shoulders up, so you turn it in sort of a weird little, headstand where you're resting on your shoulders.
Maybe.
And your neck's out like this, going, hello!
Upside down.
Hello! Milady! Corazon! Fancy seeing you here! It's just,
head squished into the dirt, knees over your,
exactly.
up over your ears.
Portia turns off and as Nadia raises a single eyebrow.
I've never seen you in that position before.
Finally, she stops acting like Spock and takes a deep breath and breaks the tension.
Milady, there's something I need to tell you. I should have told you sooner, but,
I assume she stands up at this point.
I hope she does.
I hope that, Portia, please get to your feet.
Yes, milady.
Yes.
Milady, I was thinking I need to tell you.
It's okay.
I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help. I care about you both so much, but I just...
Portia.
Please.
Please.
But then everything happened and suddenly you were in trouble too, and...
Portia!
So, of course, at this point, the thing is going to be like, you're both in trouble. And so, a normal main character would go, both?
Yes.
Because
in this
I'm
case,
not in trouble.
So, all Nadia is concerned about is not what Portia's saying. She's concerned about the fact that Portia is carrying on aggressively.
Oh, no. And I'm sure eventually, though, Nadia will be the one to point it out, because as we have discussed before, your main character usually doesn't talk. They just let the other characters talk for them.
Yes. So Corazon, in this case, one, did not actually get greeted by Portia.
Nope.
Nor acknowledged or recognized in any way.
No, they did. Milady, Corazon, that did happen.
I thought you added that in.
No, that was literally
I
on the
didn't even
page.
see it. Okay, there we go. Cool.
Milady, Corazon. No, that was in there, I promise.
I missed it because I was looking for it and I couldn't see it. I'm glad you... I can't read. Forgive
Sometimes
me,
you
I
cannot.
can't read.
Why would they call me Milady Corazon?
No. Milady. And then no Corazon.
Oh.
And then not acknowledged at all. Like only
You're like,
acknowledging
no,
Nadia.
there was nothing there.
Exactly.
Me. There was a whole name there.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway. Portia.
Portia stops and quickly wipes away her tears.
You are here to see your brother. Yes?
Uh,
How do we know? I want to know.
Hang on. I want to know, but I'm like, that potentially makes Nadia seem more like a cold asshole.
Kind of, yes.
Like, I have been actively
One.
hunting down basically your brother, and I haven't talked to you about your process at all. I just sort of been ignoring that.
We need to find out when she knew.
To me, that seems cruel.
I say, one, that seems kind of cruel, but two, you need to find out how long she knew before this interaction to see how much of an asshole she's
I'm just saying, like, right now I'm going, off the cuff, that sounds like a dick move.
That is kind of a dick move.
I pause. Surprised,
Yes.
not shocked.
Yes.
When I saw Julian and Portia run into each other outside my shop, I'd wondered. Except the plot had specifically and very, like, my inner voice went, they must be siblings. Which I have to say...
Maybe?
Could maybe, perhaps, but it was really distinctive, remember? Where we both noticed that when we ran it, we were like, why did you really hammer in going, siblings? I was like, who would think that? Like, you'd usually go through a whole gamut of options. Are they siblings? Are they a parent and child? Like, are they, I mean...
Lovers.
But are they lovers? Yeah, are they? That's why I was like, why would you assume that?
So the interesting thing for me is going, when I meet two people that have slightly similar features, as in they're both redheads.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what they visibly have in common, given the height difference and the
And the
build
freckles.
difference. But
Oh, no,
like,
except, like, Julian really doesn't. She's the only one who does. That's true. They
I
need to give
assume-
him more freckles.
I assume he wears foundation.
I mean, he is an actor, even though he's a doctor. So
He's also a little vain like that.
That's true.
Like the I am a disaster, but also carefully applying foundation and
Excuse
kohl.
me. Let me make sure that I put, the proper amount of darkness around my eyes.
Even while I am completely
Hello?
dead drunk, I'm still like, but I need to look properly, like appropriately messed up.
Right.
Not like theatrically messed up.
Yes,
not just
exactly.
like, not like a real mess.
Yes.
Still smell bad though.
Oh, you still smell like alcohol.
All right. Anyway, I was just saying, so for me, it would just be like, wow, two people with red hair. That
Oh.
would be my whole thing.
Yeah.
Like when I have seen two people who are both redheads, even with the same color of red hair, I say, because a lot of times it's copper, what have you.
Right.
I say, in my life, I really just go, wow, 2 in 1 day. Like that's my whole thing because it's such a statistical anomaly.
Well, and the thing is, like, even for me, they do actually have different shades of red, for sure. So I even would just, like, if it were me, I really would run through the whole gambit. We'd run the entire length of possibilities. It wouldn't just go, they must be siblings. Like, that was really weird to me for it to just end on that. Like, I don't know. I still...
My question also is going, okay, if you've never had siblings and you haven't had friends who are siblings, how do you recognize sibling behaviors?
Especially because you apparently have never been out.
Well, even with that, like,
Oh,
Astra doesn't seem to have a lot of friends, and none of those friends seem to be actively around siblings, so you wouldn't have been exposed to siblings.
All you've been exposed to largely is basically a sort of assumed kind of pseudo-parent-child relationship, where so you could be like, okay, they could be parent and child, that makes sense. There we are.
Or if we've seen people dating, you know, in the market or married, be like, oh, they could be totally together.
I'd wondered. But Nadia has never mentioned this before.
It's true.
So it kind of makes her a dick. Lady, you know... Nadia sighs and places a hand gently on Portia's shoulder.
Touching Portia the way I just touched Nadia.
Pretty much.
I had my suspicions, and then I decided to blurt them out as fact. Based on what you've just done.
Which is totally fine.
Which sounds about right for her. Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
When she acts. Well, like, she doesn't do a lot of action, generally, because she does a lot more, like,
reactive
thinking
stuff.
And waiting, reacting. But when she acts, she seems to just make a decision and go with it. I'm going to throw the ball. I need to find Julian first.
Yeah.
We don't know why these two things are connected or why they have to happen in that order or why you have to announce one before the other's resolved, but that's what you've decided. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Lady of action.
I still say in some way I am...
But having your suspicions, also going, you're withholding information from me, and then going, I'm not going to talk to you about anything that might be your situation, though. At all.
Like I said, seems a little dickish, considering especially, like, Nadia's special attentions toward Portia. Her literal, like, almost mourning her loss of friendship and intimacy with Portia. For a character that she's barely had any, like, mental awareness of at all.
In a lot of ways.
I know her really well. It sounds really intimate and really familiar. Like, really, like, she seemed to go through this, like, we spent 2 chapters with her, like, profoundly, basically grieving over God. Yeah, I was like,
yeah, digging through her Portia process.
Yeah, I'm like, I appreciate, game, that you're trying to go there gay for each other, but, like, that was unusual, especially considering all the other relationships you've really handled in this game.
Yep.
Like, it seems like strange choices.
Alright, I had my suspicions. Slippery fingers. Wait, what?
Huh?
I don't know what that's from.
I don't know either. Keep going.
Alright. I've never known you to be particularly clumsy. Save for the night I announced Julian's imminent hanging.
Oh, Nadia paid attention to Portia, yeah.
Again, Portia having a strong emotional reaction and going, you don't normally behave like this. Good observation. I like that. I do. I love that Nadia was paying attention and knows she was behaving differently. Why do you assume siblings?
Yeah.
Why? Again, okay.
Like I said, why would you go siblings and then just not think about anything else?
Not friends, not, you know, partners. Again, the whole... There's
business
a lot of
comrades, not people who are boning each other.
Or other types of family.
Yeah?
I was just saying, but also specifically, like, there are a lot of, for lack of a better social word, doppelbangers out there. People who look similar as a couple.
Yeah, they do.
And going...
Actually, oh God.
It happens quite a bit
There
sometimes.
is literally, what is it, is it a Reddit thing where they go...
Siblings are dating.
Siblings are dating.
Uh-huh.
And, like, it is deeply uncomfortable to me as a person.
How similar so many of these couples look.
And I don't mean to shame people, and I'm just like...
No, it's not a bad
complicated thing. I'm just going, like, it makes me personally, like, a level of going, oh God, there really is sometimes this thing where you go, people look so similar. But I also grew up, basically, Mormon, where I've told my friends sometimes, it's like, it's really scary. Like, when I was really heavily involved in basically that subculture, like, how much you could walk around in public and pick out the Mormons in the crowd because they had a particular look to them that I'm still not sure how exactly to describe.
See, for me, being on that Reddit, it wasn't about them looking similar.
Yeah.
It was about the fact that you couldn't tell from the pose types.
Oh, that too.
From the way they'd pose them together, whether this was a romantic or familial pose. And it was really like 50-50 going, okay, that looks super romantic. Okay, that's brother and sister. Okay, that looks super chill. Okay, that's dating. Okay, that one is super romantic. That's brother and sister.
Yeah, that was also, I mean, that thing
and
too.
again, that can be driven by a photographer. Having done a really brief stint as a photographer in a job once, like, they don't really distinguish, here's a romance pose versus here's a sibling pose with adults.
But that's also the thing that I thought is actually really funny, is that socially, like, because I agree with you, like, that was the big thing that really made me uncomfortable, like, that you just couldn't tell. The posing, the arranging, what they looked like. You were like, whoa, I have no social training for this at all, because it was that recognition of, oh God, there isn't anything. And I went then going, how come we don't have something? And then why is there actually such a sort of lack of distinction? Does this in some way, even on its own, just like, sort of as an aside, does this contribute in some form to basically toxic masculinity? And sort of the patriarchal experience overall of going, I'm entitled to, because most of these are, like, almost all of these are heterosexual. I think, like, every single one of them actually
I was going to say, they were all a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Like, as far as the
like I said, just heterosexual. I have no idea, AMAB, AFAB. I just was like, they were all looking heterosexual couples, and I was going like...
They were all white people, as far as I saw, too.
Yeah, that one, too.
But
oh my god, yeah, anyway.
Anyway, I don't know why they're assuming siblings. I don't know that I've ever just assumed siblings in my life. So, and I have a sibling. So, and I had friends with siblings. And even when I met their siblings, sometimes without context, I didn't know it was their sibling. Like, if it's in their house, you go, oh, that's your sibling.
Right.
But, like, there was a couple of times where I met one of my friend's siblings in a completely unrelated venue. And I was like, who's this? And they're like, oh, that's my brother. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I would have never, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't matter that once I thought about it, they did look kind of similar.
Yeah.
It just was different, demeanor, different personality, night and day as far as these people are concerned.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah. I mean, that's why I was like, if it were me, I would have assumed that they were actually dating.
Involved, yeah. Hanging.
Because that's actually how the trope works.
But again, I like that she pays attention to Portia, and this implies that I actually know what your mannerisms and behavior are, and what the context of the situation is. That's kind of cool. But I'm not angry. Family can be complicated. I do not fault you for keeping this secret.
Except that my issues with my family are completely over now.
I guess. I only hope that, in the future, we can trust each other more.
My brother's going to
sounds
die.
Vaguely condescending to me.
I
don't think it's meant to be, but in the sense of you still have this really strong power dynamic between them.
Yes, you really do.
You really do. And going, this is my servant, and I am the ruler of everything in this area. As well as, a princess of a greater empire. I would say there's this really strong experience of going, I hope we can trust each other more. Sounds very weighty. Extremely so. Like, it is my hope that this can change in the future. And, if it does not, that could be, implied as that's no good. All right.
I don't know. Nadia takes a surprise step back as Portia rushes forward, throwing her arms around Nadia.
I also take a step back to get out of the way.
As well.
I imagine that would be a thing.
Oh, my lady, of course I trust you. I'm so sorry, I should have told you sooner.
Oh, of course you trust me, but I can't trust you. That's all I've said. Oh, hands up. It's quite all right. What are the comfort gestures? I just that sort of like startled, hands wrapped around your waist, face buried in, I assume your chest based on height differences.
Yes.
And going, I've got the hands out like startled wise and being like, gentle pat on the back. There's one thing you can do for me now. Portia?
Anything, lady.
Your brother looks out at Portia, still hugging her. It's going to, I don't know. Has refused to speak with me. I have reason to believe he's lying about his guilt. If he did not kill Lucio, well, I need to know before I make any decisions. Talk to him, Portia. Perhaps he'll listen to you. Also, if I don't trust you, I should be listening to the conversation.
Why is Mazalinka not here?
I need to know that one.
Like,
Mazalinka should be here. Why wouldn't Portia also enlist Mazalinka's help? That's her family here in the city.
It is. And actually, like,
I don't understand.
I'm just baffled.
Also, is Mazalinka, again, like, is this a huge AU? Is this not adjacent the story if you were a different apprentice and everything happens the same except for you're not there with Julian, but this is completely different AU where, like, Mazalinka's out of the city and sailing right now? Like, I need to know.
I don't know.
This is very important. Otherwise, we're going to have her in there with a spoon breaking his chains.
Yeah, no kidding. A bright smile lights up Portia's face. She sniffles and wipes away a few final tears, and then nods.
Releasing Nadia so she can wipe away the tears.
Yeah, pretty much.
She sniffles, wipes her tears off on Nadia's chest. Blah, 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 blah. Soft, damp motorboating.
Of course. Sparkles in her eyes, you.
Glitters. Wow! Nadia, because I can cure everything with my cleavage. All things solved through cleavage.
So I can't decide what I really think about this, because some of this does, so I'm having sort of flashbacks to When the Night Comes, where some of this feels a little bit, I don't know, like, it's not
We're not saying anything. We're not interacting.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, it's not as bad as When the Night Comes. Like, that part was deeply creepy to me. But this is, like, I want to say, like, can you imagine in that sense of going like, okay, well, you know, you have basically this implied they could possibly honestly be together, both Portia and Nadia. And then you have an MC who goes, well, I could just, you know, or you yourself go, well, of course I would be involved in that, and I'm entitled to do that. So I'm almost like, I can't decide if this is a, wow, neat, cool, they have a really great, you know, basically a women companionship, you know, friend thing going on, even though there's the power dynamic, shoving all that shit aside, you know, power in politics, even though I cannot believe that you have the ability to do so, because that's literally how this world works, and also our world, but, like, you imagine, and then you go, well, you know, okay, if they're all going to be intimate with each other, be intimate with me. Like imagine if, like, especially, like, at least in my experience of, like, cis dudes, so they go, oh, women performing for me, and they could have an intimate relationship. Hey, do you want a threesome?
Right. I say, what I'm getting here is, it's really weird based on the friendship and interaction, the rapport you developed with Portia, including, like, finding secrets together and stuff like that, even though she hasn't been here a lot.
I will say, we have far less, actually, of a friendship relationship than we did in Julian's route.
It's true,
sure.
But at the same time, she still is, like, I trust you, I will help you with stuff, I'm really happy to aid you on Nadia's behalf, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And she doesn't speak to us at all.
Nope.
Other than to greet us. Like, they have this really profoundly intimate moment where even when she pulls herself back together, she doesn't look at Corazon at all as if they're not there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, like, this is...
When I've had very personal outbursts, and when I've seen friends and other people have it with someone that's like, I'm having a moment with you in a public space, that is, there's this, when you step back from it, you acknowledge the other people again.
Yeah.
If you have regard for them.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've seen in my real life.
Because you do also go, oh yeah, you are also here, and I also appreciate your presence. If you're not going to take the usually, like, socially cultivated one of going, I should be ashamed or embarrassed because I had an outburst in front of you and you weren't involved.
Even if it's ashamed or embarrassed, you apologize to those people. You acknowledge them in some way.
Yeah, you do. So it's a little, yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Trust me, I've got a lot of things to say to him.
I love that face. I don't care. Of all her faces, I adore that one.
It's really good, honestly.
It's so good. I honestly have felt that, like, for me, Portia's face feels more expressive than a lot of the other characters. Like, she has more expressive expressions, including the way she cries and stuff.
So, one of the things... I haven't seen everybody's faces, so I won't say this. But I will say, Portia, to me, compared to even, like, seeing Julian's
She is more expressive than him.
She is more expressive than him, and I will say that that actually, in my experience, tends to be indicative of almost an interesting switch, because on average, the men are way more expressive in games, or in stories, than the women ever are. Because remember, men are allowed to look ugly. Women cannot.
Right.
And I think it's interesting, but that's also the thing that sort of leads me, and I don't know if it's a weird double standard potentially in, like, society itself, or just something in myself. Though I think it could be reflective of society at large, because, I mean, I don't live in a vacuum.
Right.
Just kind of the concept, though, that then maybe that explains why so many people don't think, like, of Portia as, like, a very sexy or interesting romantic interest.
Maybe.
Because based on even just... Because I haven't spent a lot of time at all, because I've been really trying to avoid spoilers, but, like, based on what my understanding is, most people seem to not think very highly of Portia at all, in the sense of as a romantic
They
interest.
don't find her real sexy spicy.
Yes,
it's not
and
like
I'm wondering if the reason why is because it's also even come out in the fact that she's not dignified, or she doesn't, you know, hold herself to, like, some high standard, or, you know, like, the things that women are supposed to do. The fact that she is more expressive, she does get more sarcastic and more fiery and whatever else, she slips so heavily into that big sister role that people just go, well, you know, that's not somebody you date.
Well, I would tend to say that, I mean, I don't know about that, I would say, but...
That's somebody who mommies you.
I say, I don't know as much of that culture, I was going to say, but, well, I would say that Nadia's face also is less expressive in the way that Nadia is supposed to be sort of a stone wall of elegance, as far as I can tell.
Yes.
And it is, but I really like Portia's expressions. I really do.
I'm having sort of a sociological experience going, I wonder what that means about it.
Thank you, Portia. If he tells you anything, please let me know. I hope we can trust each other more in the future. And it is immediately established, like, you don't want to listen in. I would assume she'd want to hear for herself what he says.
And then also, or that we would be around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
So that Portia doesn't fucking have to repeat herself.
There, but, like, you want to hear the conversation. You don't want to be involved in it, because obviously that would, that would temper it differently.
And I understand some people would be like, but that's listening in. That's not trusting me. It's like, but also, like, going, hey, can we listen to you talk to him? I don't know.
Even without that, it's just a level of going, Nadia doesn't have to trust Portia.
No.
Nadia doesn't have to at all. And she's like, I hope in the future we can trust each other more. And then she doesn't and then she immediately rolls into it, which I find admirable but wild. Instead of going, I'll go with you,
especially considering all her other attitudes, but you know.
Also, I would love to hear, I'd be very interested in how you interact with each other.
But that's again where I'm like, wow, they make it really obvious in this one that she would totally be, basically, very highly interested in Portia, and not anyone else, which makes me kind of wonder, actually, if in all the other routes she just ends up with Portia, like, every single time?
I don't know.
Because I know she does it. Yeah.
Please, let me know.
Portia rushes down into the dungeons, and Nadia lets out a slow breath, turning towards me.
But was it a breath she didn't know she was holding?
Rip in the chat.
As for us, Corson, I noticed that she didn't talk to you at all after greeting you. Huh, wild. It's almost as if she didn't know you were here. Well, if Julian will not tell me who killed Lucio, perhaps there is another who can answer.
Okay.
I have tried many times to reach her, but with you by my side, this time may finally prove successful. What is with the blush?
Intimacy, vulnerability.
Maybe,
it's okay.
maybe that. Come. It's high time I showed you, in any case. We're going to meet a mysterious woman of some kind?
Confused? Actually, at this point, you'd be like, wait, what? I take Nadia's outstretched hand and follow her away from the Colosseum.
Nadia, here, let me ask you this favor, this thing. Wait, a mysterious woman?
Why am I holding your hand again in public? What the fuck is going on? Anyway, we're going to find out who this is in the next one.
We are.
So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Please also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We have some links in the description down below. We also have our Twitch link down there if you'd like to go check us out. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!